All right, great. It is July 26, 2017. Welcome to the Policy Committee meeting. Today from the Policy Committee, you have me, Sarah Johnson-Rothman, and Robert Kim and Nita Hester aren't here, but we have a number of administrators and a couple of community members as well. So we have Tom Sigafus, Dr. Levinowitz from the school board, Michelle Clegg, Mark Sirota, Ken Roos, Dr. Wheeler, Brooke Evans, and I said a couple community members and a child as well. So we are here with who is reading the book. We have a couple of things to go over. First, do we have any announcements or communications?
We do not.
Okay. We do have some minutes. This is from the May 22nd, 2017 Policy Committee. If there's any changes, let Brooke know. Otherwise, those will be sent on to the legislative meeting. First, August? August, yes, August 21st. So, but with that, we just have a few things to look at today, since a couple of our members aren't here. The first one we have is Administrative Regulation 215. This is promotion and retention. Okay. All right. So, there were several changes, it looks like, we made here. Alright, it's behind the break. Alright, so why were changes made to 215? What are we looking at here? Why?
At the elementary level in particular, there had been a process, a protocol that had been in place for many years ago. And so there was inconsistencies by building and a discussion that the processes that were available were so old and antiquated they really didn't match where we wanted to go with that process. So they changed it. So elementary principals put in a lot of input. Kim Miner also provided a lot of input, and from that developed recommendations. Ken's office provided a draft, the template, to which we modified a little bit.
Okay.
So what you see is been vetted and used with the approval of the administrative team.
So, I know it says elementary and middle school students, and we have, it says K through 5 that are in here. Is there anything specific? And then you have, is there anything specific to our middle school students?
This also applies to it applies to the middle school as well. Ava did review it. She was part of the review. I felt that it was also met the needs. For the most part, middle school and high school students aren't retained. It was really a primary discussion of the elementary administrators. The secondary was in agreement with how it was happening.
Okay. So I was just seeing, because it says in K through 5, it takes out 8 in a couple of places there.
Yes, I see the concern. Should there be a statement in that section about middle school separate and apart from the K through 5?
I'm not sure where that straight through came from. Is there a way to track where that was? Because I think K through 8 is fine. And then high school is represented at 5.
Right.
So that 5 may not have been accurate.
Right.
So striking the 8 may have been an error.
Yeah.
You need to read it through the 8 then, because the 8 started.
Oh, right. Yes, thank you. I
Reject
think it's just
change.
the 2 places. There we go.
Okay, and then down.
Yeah, there's one more spot. There. Oh,
Okay.
Okay, English language learners, is that the new term? I read something that they were using a new term for English language.
Not aware of that, but
Okay, maybe we'll
check
check
that.
that.
Yeah, because it has, it says English language learners and English as a second language program.
That's the new one, English language learners takes the place of English as a second
Yes.
language. Okay, so that's it. Okay.
Yeah, we just want the.
So do you want to change that wording in the second paragraph?
Yeah, should that be ELL in that second paragraph then? The first paragraph says, calls it the English language learners. The second paragraph, if the student participates in the English as a second language program.
Yeah, that's,
So should that be the ELL program?
yes,
There's twice. in that
on the second page.
Right.
So-
I'm sorry.
Go down last paragraph.
Yeah, keep going. So there you go. So the second paragraph, that one, yeah, should be ELL.
Right.
And then in the next section, this is where we
And then am I striking through?
paragraph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the ELL program.
Yeah.
We should look through all of our policies and administrative regs and just make those changes. You know, where it says English as a second language, we should say ELL.
Yeah, if we have the ability to do that, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's not a substantive change, so we're just.
No,
You just gotta make the change.
the program names is different. Okay, so it was really just the younger grades that we're looking at, and that's, again, that was just the changes done by the principals.
Right.
Okay. All right, are there any other questions on that one?
I'm curious why academic performance, the three bullets that are stricken, are not explicitly mentioned as a reason to be a candidate for retention. I mean, I'm not disputing it. I'm curious about the thought process, though, because all we have as examples now are attendance and IEP.
But that's a great question. I'm honestly, is there any way to look at how this,
That would have been
Was
what
changed.
Kim did on this, and I'm sorry that she's not here today.
The changes, to see who made the edits?
I'm more curious about why,
but I guess I don't have an explanation, that's part of I would like to answer you, but I don't.
Yeah.
You want me to add a comment
I
into there to find out?
would, I
Yeah.
would.
I mean, I think we can always put this forward, and then at the legislative meeting, if we don't get that question answered ahead of time, we can ask that question at the legislative meeting too.
I think there may be more broad academic reasons, and this was a limited list, so rather than include many more, they struck that because it does says not limited to
Right, it does.
those two other
I
bullets.
just feel like something should be replaced with some
Oh, wait.
sort of, phrase like broad academic reasons. And there should be something about academics as a possible.
Mhm.
It reads now that, okay, if I show up, I'm
Yeah,
You're good?
going to be good.
it does say not limited to, but it certainly implies that.
I do recall now, because when I hover over it, you can see who made that change. I do recall that was just a request of Dr. Minor, so I guess we can ask for a clarification of why. I didn't ask why, I just made that change
Okay.
for our
I mean, it could be, yeah, something about academic performance if we wanted something like that. We can add it.
Then maybe we don't want something like that, but I'd like to hear
Well, I
why.
think we need to hear what her rationale was for the recommendation.
What do you want me to put in the note?
Just confirm with Dr. Minor rationale now for,
Yeah, deletion. And whether it makes sense to put something in there about academic performance.
make sense to add?
I think what you're asking for is it deliberate that we
Right.
don't flunk kids from K-8? Yeah, for academics.
Right.
Thank you.
So maybe we bring
That's
this
fine,
one
just
back.
for the
Bring
record.
this one back. Okay. Do you guys want to set this forward, or do you want to bring it back?
You can get an answer before.
We can get an answer before August 21st.
So ready for first reading then?
Yeah, this is actually an AR, so it's just for approval.
Oh, right.
Okay. All right, next. We have 221, dress and grooming. This is also a regulation. And this is a new reg. We have a policy. We've had a policy. This is just a regulation for it.
Yeah, you were missing, you had a policy that was missing, or it didn't really have any standards for what constituted dress and grooming. And so we're putting this out there as at least if nothing else, a starting point. But we also wanted to make sure that we did not have a dress and grooming policy which ran counter to the transgender policy as well. So we wanted to be careful that whatever the policy said is, we were consistent.
And when I did the handbooks with the principals,
Yes.
there was great inconsistency building to building what the dress code was. So we wanted to bring some type of, through line from elementary to high school that was broad enough to allow for the nuances of a student's age,
Right.
but also consistent in the expectations. The principals have looked at this and are all in agreement that it is fine as it is. They like the draft is written by Ken.
Great. So with the handbooks, are they just going to reference this in the handbooks then?
Yeah, there's a link.
Okay. So they don't have anything else, any other specifications?
No.
So that phrase and the guidelines establishing the political student handbook is just sort of a placeholder we can add to this as needed if it comes up.
Yeah, in case you want to put in illustrations or something, you want to say yes to the category yes and no to no. We could say that. We should do that. Right. Guidelines established if any. We could say if any, make it more precise.
Yeah.
Do you want me to edit something in here?
Yeah, so after the first sentence, comma after handbook.
It's in here, comma. Oh, hold on, I have to track.
If any.
This is new, so you have to track. Or
Oh,
can you
maybe
just,
not. Can I just add since it's?
You can.
Oh, so I'll have to track.
Do we have much discipline over dress?
I don't believe so. It's never come to my desk.
I know my daughter has told me that in sixth grade, certainly some of the teachers were enforcing the length to the fingertip requirement and the spaghetti strap.
When summer comes, hot weather comes, yeah.
Yes. Especially in buildings without air conditioning.
And some of our students just need some reminders.
So by this policy now, we don't have those requirements, is that correct?
Right. I mean, there's nothing explicit in here saying spaghetti straps are, I'm not sure why spaghetti straps are.
It was some fingertip width thing or anything, I didn't ever found it. I never looked if I ever found it written.
Yeah.
But also, we also don't want any First Amendment challenges.
You're right.
So let's have something in writing when somebody says, well, what is your policy? We can actually point to it.
We have
Something
something.
that's actually
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, that we run into issues in the spring when closed from the previous year. You know, the chapel's grown and close haven't.
Yes.
But we don't tend to have a lot of students who are dressed inappropriately.
Mark, if you could see anyone in middle school now, and click on the book, and then go to dress code, it'll say policy 220, 221, and then it has also the link to them.
So this may sounds like this may require a little bit of faculty reorientation.
It will.
Yep.
Just about finishing up what it means. Once this, it's not in there now because we haven't stopped.
We've had, yeah.
Right, so it has, still has the old one, it has a link to the old policy. And then that policy will then upload this admin reg.
It should read link as soon as it's approved on August 21st. I don't believe I.
Once we put it into the board docs, then that link.
And it automatically-
It's
Yeah,
automatically. The only thing, I mean, the policy is from 2003.
Mhm.
We just updated the admin reg because the policy, the way it's written, is fine.
Right, it's pretty
So
benign.
do we also want to then put that was reviewed, just to get these dates up? Because we have so many.
It should be
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So we can look at this and say, oh my gosh.
I can just add that in Word docs. It'll now say,
So this is the old.
just change the date
No, that's,
to reviewed on.
Oh, okay.
so you have to click here again.
Yeah, we didn't-
Keep going down. You get the dress code.
You know.
Yeah, but see how we've done it.
Look at it, that's to say the reaction.
It's just all
Yeah.
there, and down further is the dress policy. Dress code,
We can look at it if you want.
what the handbook?
221.
Yeah.
The handbook is on page 7. It's on, are you receiving?
Oh, I was saying the 203.
I was looking at the policy really fast, 221 policy, just,
I think we're the WG.
Oh, I'm sorry, 221.
I know, I was looking at 203 too.
Sorry.
I was doing this
Okay,
today.
sorry about that.
So put a, just put.
We can change this to say
Review.
last reviewed. Yep.
And when you click on that, it's going to bring up.
What's today's?
It's going to bring up 26, 203, but we're leaving that one. And then we go out, it's admin regs, that would all should be
Isn't
out.
that great?
That is the future, yes, okay.
Nothing in policy contradicts the AR.
No.
It's really generic.
Yes.
Yes.
So we made that update.
We're long past
Okay.
Last
that.
review.
Yeah, wow.
Last review, July 26th.
Great.
All right, so we just reviewed, assuming everyone looked at 221 here, the policy as well, we reviewed that. Doesn't look like there's any changes necessary to the policy 221. And then we will put forth the regulation 221 on the August 21st meeting.
Do you want to do the same thing for policy 215?
Probably.
Put a last review on that.
We do, and we will check with Kim in the interim.
Well, that was on AR.
That was on the
Yeah,
AR.
the policy,
Yeah, the policy.
Do you want to check
She's good.
have we done none of the policies?
The policy, we didn't do anything, we didn't change the policy, but we updated the regs, so the implication is that the policy.
Oh, so we should put the date,
We should
absolutely.
put the review date.
Right,
The
right.
policy 215 is today.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any inconsistencies there.
See, the policy does talk about required skills and knowledge.
Right, and the policy also has,
Standards, all these things that are not in AR.
Are you back on 215?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah, and we might need to look at this because the policy has credits and stuff for the high school for required for 9th, 10th, and 11th, and they do not match the regulation.
Okay, so do you want to go back and have the administration look at policy
Yeah.
215 as well?
Yeah, I don't think we can pass the regulation yet because it's going to be in direct conflict with
Okay,
the
so that will
policy.
give Michelle an opportunity to talk to Kim
Yeah,
and then to look at the
so
policy.
we'll bring 215 back with the policy.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Ken. August 28th. Okay, so our next policy meeting is August 28th. So that'll be coming back.
So Michelle, or when Kim contacts you, just refer to Michelle.
Yeah, that works too.
Number of credits that they earn is different in the AR versus.
That's what we said, so we're bringing it back. We're bringing both the policy and the regulations back because we don't want to have them in conflict. Okay. So we have reviewed policy 221 and we're putting AR 221 on 821. Okay. So next we have 117, AR 117.
This was adopted February 13th.
So what happened?
Michelle, why is this on?
I think we just have,
Homebound instruction, 117.
we have that attachment updated.
Oh, that's what it
The
is.
attachment, I believe we just for reference,
So
put
it's look at the attachment.
Attachment.
That was created by Ken's office.
The
Again,
positions form.
all the buildings were using different forms.
Right.
for homebound.
Yes.
So-
Now, will this be electronically available and we can tell people just to destroy our copies?
Yes, yeah, it's attached. It will be attached into the board docs. And so when I talk to the nurses and the guidance counselors who do the homebound paperwork, they'll know where to access it.
And they will know to get rid of all the old copies because getting rid of paper copies is impossible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
So,
we do something here? This is a quarter of mine. Can we put a date on this form or is it not necessary?
I think it's a good idea.
I always like to date forms so we know when.
It has the bottom left,
That
the
code.
number from, Whistler, but that doesn't have
You know,
it.
I think it's a good idea, but they don't.
Yeah, can we change
Yeah.
that and just put the date?
So that'll be August.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, what else? All right, so that's 117.
Cut and dry.
Just the attachment, we're gonna add a date so we know when it was non-consistent. Anything.
2017.
Shouldn't we say in regulation, there's a form, to use the form?
I can,
Yeah, sure. The students will be approved by the Director of Pupil Services by means of the attachment.
If you look under guidelines where it says the treating physician shall submit a letter, should we say instead the attached form?
Yes.
Strike the letter?
Okay. I did the edit feature.
I'm glad you're driving it.
It just takes a little bit of, okay,
How about shall complete the attached form?
Shall.
yeah.
Instead of submit a letter.
We don't care. We don't care.
complete the attached form.
Even similar to what happens is they give it to the parent gives it to us, right?
Yes.
Parent is a
Or
Right there, just
Hold on, I have to do it in, you have to do it a certain way so that's within this.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Has to be under consideration, otherwise it won't do it right. This is homebound instruction.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna handwrite it in and then I'll put it in right after this meeting. So what would you like me to have?
where it says submit a letter, to say, or shall complete the attached form to be submitted to the school board.
And just put submit a letter
Got it.
and put complete the attached form.
Thanks.
to be submitted to the school principal.
There's nothing in here, if I read it correctly, about timing. So the form comes from the doctor, you really don't do anything until we have the form.
Oh, here it goes.
And is there some period of time, is there any grace period from the time we receive the form, to the time we shall do these things? You know, if it comes in at 12 in the afternoon, at noon,
Does it have to do with the 10-day placement?
No, it's not.
This
No.
isn't special.
Special,
This is,
The teams move really, really quickly. Usually the staff at the school volunteer to do the tutoring, which is helpful because then there's consistency for the student as well. So it hasn't,
but it could take, you know, I mean, some logistics.
Take 2-3 days, sure.
Right.
right. I don't think.
well, plus you may require a medical examination. We'll check on the timeline.
Yeah.
See if there is a requirement for a certain period of time. But if not, then you could put in something. Yeah, the district will begin after this paragraph. The district will then commence providing or when where eligibility for homebound education has been established, the district shall begin providing such instruction within a reasonably prompt period of time.
That's great news, reasonably.
Real reasonable.
Get that?
Nope, I did not see that.
Actually, you haven't quite finished where you are, but with the attached form to be submitted.
No, keep
No,
it.
And just add the words to be submitted.
Okay.
And go down after before it says, get where it says the district will provide homebound instruction only. Yeah, before the, yeah,
Right there.
right before that, Eric said. Where, when eligibility for homebound instruction has been established, the district will commence providing this instruction in a reasonably prompt manner. And I would make that next sentence, the next paragraph.
And you'll verify that there's not.
And we'll verify
Yeah,
that there's
there's no
no
time.
timeline that's more specific than the prompt. Oh, how about this? Reasonably prompt manner in accordance with law. You don't need a comma after manner. You do, however, you went after established.
Yeah.
It has to be on the agenda then for,
Yeah, so,
for
yeah, so
August.
117 will go on in August.
August 24th policy.
No, for
Oh,
the,
just,
yeah, just for the
Just the
meeting.
AR?
So it's going to be the AR and as well as the attachment.
got it.
It's just the AR.
The immunizations
Yep, so this is 203.
is on the district website. You go to the, the front of the district website, there is immunizations, and those are the current requirements now. So I didn't know, I don't think, I guess the intent of this was not to put the specific requirements because they could change. So is it worthwhile to reference that or to put a link to the immunization update that we have right now from the Department of Health?
Yeah.
Right now it is on the
It
front,
makes sense to do that.
Well,
but then you have to revise the policy or the
yeah,
reg
the
every
policy
time.
should stay, the policy's fine. The AR should have,
I think the reg should reflect the current.
But this is, do we have regs for this?
No,
Immunizations.
maybe not.
we should, okay, all right.
So we need to develop.
On further review, I would have said the policy should just simply be, there
Easy.
should be an administrative regulation that sets forth the specific requirements,
Mhm.
and then all that stuff in green should move to a reg.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll do
let's
that.
just make sure that works.
So move the specifics to the reg.
So this should come back?
I don't think you'll need it.
I don't think
It's
so.
going to be the same content, and it's already.
Yeah, so let's look at the content. I think we need to
Outdated. We need to get it done.
This is gonna take 2 readings.
Right, because we want it in place for school.
Well,
Do we have to have 2 readings or can we just do 1 by law?
you don't need 2 readings, but you do need to publicize to people the fact that it's 5 days now, not 8
Well,
months.
it's
Right,
on the
and that's-
website, our nurses are going to contact parents, and I'm doing a blog, and we'll keep that information in it.
Then you're fine to,
And we've already announced it, but we will continuously announce it.
We did it
until
this spring.
school
Right,
begins.
I remember this spring when it came
you're
out.
fine to do a 2 reading, maybe, all right,
Okay.
without it all finalized in September. Okay.
Do you have an idea how many kids this is going to affect right away?
Right now, the middle school, believe it or not, has the most.
Okay.
But they're working on those phone calls.
Okay.
Can you give us a ballpark number or something?
I can give you a report of the numbers. I did that at the end of the school year. I can do it, again, at the beginning of the school year where we are, that first couple days of school, so that you know how many kids we're talking about. And for students who don't have any vaccinations at all, we've had this happen before. I mean, they can't get all of them at one time. That wouldn't be safe. So what we do is then the parent has to provide, like a doctor's note showing their appointments. So that they are intending to get those shots during these periods of time, and that meets the criteria for when they attend. Lots of times parents do medical or religious exemption. So, they often will just write the note to exempt themselves as well.
And those need to be.
Anybody that doesn't want to do this,
Can get out of it.
easy path to not have to do it.
Okay, so
Right. Although a lot of physicians, right, from what I'm hearing, pediatricians are not accepting clients who are.
Who reject their
Right.
vaccinations.
okay.
Serious
I'm
issue.
creating a draft now.
Say that again.
I'm creating a draft and
thank
under
you.
consideration for the AR.
Thank you for doing that.
Mhm.
And,
For the private schools that we
and
cover,
then for that station.
for the private schools that we cover, our nurses also follow the same procedure.
Right.
But it's up to the private school whether they keep those students out or not. I don't enforce that.
Correct. We can't exclude a kid from private school anyway. Would be
That's up to them what they do.
Yeah, they do that.
We monitor.
They're there on our caseload, and we do the screening, whatever we need to do, and they make the calls to whether they exclude somebody or not.
Okay.
And they can.
Right.
They could say, we're not taking you, get rid of these patients. So we will become the repository for unvaccinated kids.
Probably not. All right, so we have risks exclusion from school, and that's how we want to phrase it, right? That it gives the possibility, I guess, that
Policy, right, they are,
that's going to be actually, I think, put in the AR, right?
that's they are.
It is on.
Yeah, most of it's going to be thrown over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't.
Risks exclusion or will be.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, they won't be excluded if they give us a note saying, I have a strong personal and moral objections to this. And then they do it.
Okay.
I don't want to threaten something that they can't enforce. And it was like we're trying to bully somebody, then they go to some.
Oh, I saw the letter.
Let me get back to that
At
at the end of the
these
year.
days.
I believe I sent the newsletter to, in a
I
listserv.
don't think so.
Michelle, I think we sent that in a listserv.
Throw it out there, but not.
And principals did as well.
Yes, they did, it's out, it's been on several times, but we'll continue.
All right, so, so Ken has homework. We're put the things, make the policy more simple, put most of this wording into the regulation. And then we're gonna move forward even though we're not seeing the final draft right now, on for 821 because we need to get this
We're doing it.
done.
So,
Is there anything in the green part or any of this that we want to change? To give Ken suggestions, or are we good? So I guess is that the plan? We do have, I don't know how many middle school kids, but say we have 10 that day 6, we still don't have their documentation. Is the plan then to send them to the office and say, get on the phone with your parent or guardian?
Yes.
Okay.
Does the freeze medical plan need to refine? Or is that a thing?
In the green part?
And the only pseudo definition in there says, must provide medical plan setting out the schedule for the remaining doses. Does that imply that the medical plan includes a schedule, or is that what, is the medical plan just a schedule, or is it?
It has the actual appointment dates.
Is it
It has the
the-
appointment dates and what they're getting.
So, you know, if
Medical
it
plan
says,
is-
and will receive the next dose in October, is that good enough? Or we want to see October 15th?
When their appointment is made, they make the
Yeah,
appointment.
so I feel, it doesn't feel strong enough then, to me. Unless you can navigate.
Is it in the statute?
okay, well, because the medical plan sets out, there's a document that sets out a schedule for remaining doses. The plan has to be submitted, signed by the physician, reviewed every 30 days. And if they're not followed, they get excluded, we could get exclusion.
But the plan could say, as this is written, the plan could say we'll get a dose in the fall and another dose in the spring. And that sounds like not what Michelle was talking about.
And they have the appointments, they have the actual appointment date.
Yeah, Michelle.
And our nurses-
has a point date, but this doesn't require that.
The nurses then follow up with the family, they keep track of that, so that they make sure that those appointments were kept.
When we're setting out a schedule, remaining doses that complies.
I don't know. is that-
There's a red and white card.
That's
There,
in the document.
I'm looking at the Department of Health's website, and they're the ones that use the term medical plan, and it says something about a red and white card in parentheses.
Yes,
Must provide a medical plan, parentheses, red and white card,
yeah.
within the first 5 days, so it's a
So maybe-
specific
maybe it is a
thing. Yeah, it looks like it's a,
red and white card.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, right there in
Child
the
health
middle.
on medical plan, red and white card.
right.
So can you reference that?
I don't know what that is.
That's what
I don't know, I'll call
The doctor should have something, right, that should know what that means?
I can call the Department of Health and see what they reference on that.
Yeah, so it sounds like the medical plan's actually,
Thing.
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
right? It's not just what we think is a medical plan.
I worked in another state where it was the blue sheet, so.
Ah, there you go.
The blue sheet was. Red card.
It's not the immunization card.
Which might be the plan is white and red.
Right, yeah. One's a go, one's a
Whatever
stop.
plans to do.
There it is.
That's maybe part of education.
It's
Red, white, and green.
Okay, so we can reference that in the Metro regulation then,
Yeah.
the Pennsylvania Department of Health
That should be referenced.
medical plan card, whatever.
These red and white plan.
Right, right.
And I'm sure you walk into a pediatrician's office and they know exactly.
Right, they know what we're talking about.
So no, you don't want to walk in there.
I know.
Just walk back out.
Office.
Do you need me to send you something, or do you want me to fix this and send it to you, or do you want to? Okay.
What, you're just changing the wording on that red
At
one?
least you have a form for medical plan.
I can get that from the Department of Health and we'll just give it to Brooke to upload. Oh, you have it?
Do you think that's it?
Yes. Okay, good. I figured something else out. All right. Okay, so, yes, so we have, I know. All right, so we have everything covered from the policy recommendations.
Because it's not, that's how we.
The item that we had listed for discussion is equity policy, but it makes most sense that Robert, Kim, and probably Ava are here for that discussion. So since they aren't here today, we will have that discussion at the, what do we say, August 28th? Is that what we're saying?
24th.
The next policy.
It is 28th. It's, oh, sorry, that's great. 28th, not 28th.
Did we discuss, or did you discuss the assessment?
Oh, no, thank you. Let's talk about that real fast. That's a thank you, Nita, thank you. So, since the last few weeks, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court came down and talked about assessment appeals. And one of the things they said is that a school district can't decide to only, I'm paraphrasing, reassess or appeal assessments of just one type of property because they're unconstitutional due to the uniformity clause in the Pennsylvania Constitution. Okay. So we were, Nita and I, or not, we were discussing this at the last school board meeting. It briefly came up. I think Mr. Christopho from our solicitor's office was there, brought it up. And so we were looking at our policy, I believe it's 205, no, not 205. Oh, 605, maybe that's it. Yeah, tax levy, 605. So if you look under the policies under consideration,
Policies, this is under policies under consideration.
yes, if you go under policies under consideration, policy manual 605, tax levy.
605?
Yes.
Yep.
Administrative rate.
I added a sentence that we wanted to talk about to see if we want to have this in there or not. If we need it, if we should have a standard.
I don't think, I agree you should have a standard, I don't think you should have it in.
Yeah, the number
Policy,
should
the
be
number should be in the red. I
Okay.
would say is, the district, the board will from time to time establish a standard for determining district-initiated appeals.
Okay.
District-initiated assessment appeals.
Okay.
And then the regulation will embed.
Okay. So do we have a, I don't think we have a regulation, do we?
It's great reference.
That's right, great.
So we can fix that, we can
Okay.
put it in 605, and then we'll create the reg, if you can put it
Create a-
605 AR under consideration.
Sure.
And then we've already done a memo to Brenda
Okay.
with the standards, that has already been documented, so if anybody was challenging
Good.
anything we've done, or anything we're about to do in the next 3 days,
Would you like to sign
we can
that?
defend it,
Yes.
but then it's a good thing to have the board ratify.
Right. Okay.
Now, you might want to have this conversation, you should have this conversation on finance committee.
Okay.
I don't know if you need it, well, especially if it's already done. But by then, anybody whose property has been appealed will valid.
Right.
So should we put an item on a future finance committee?
Yes, I would suggest that.
Could you pop that into the particular file?
To discuss this, to confirm
Sarah?
standards and, right.
Do you want
So
me
when
to-
it comes back to you, otherwise, this is one of those things where typically it's the policy committee's purview to be making economic.
Right, no, I think it was based on the conversation we had with Mr. Christophe, was it
Yeah.
that $10,000 per year change, which
I
is.
think the finance committee should recommend the standards, and the policy committee can come back and codify it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, that's great. So we will bring, we'll see policy and AR 605 back. Do we have a finance committee meeting in August?
I think we do.
What I was looking for, I don't see one.
No?
Policy,
August
Yes.
24th, yeah.
Finance.
When's finance?
That's what I was confusing, I think it is.
August 24th, I have one.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is the 24th.
All right, so
The 24th.
on 8/24, those at the finance committee meeting,
You
make
have
sure we
it?
talk about this.
This is the oddest
And
thing.
then we'll throw it in
I
the
attack the 24th and it brings up to 17,
Huh.
which is water ice, by the way.
Yes, I have that down.
Why is
I
that happening?
have water ice now.
The 31st is bringing up the 24th.
Water ice?
Oh, somebody perked up when they heard water.
No, I'm confused. Wait, why is it about the?
After
Not you.
they
Watching the preview.
They previewed the halftime show for the year, and Dr. Levinowitz and I provide water ice, and we scoop it for
Okay.
everyone in attendance.
Have we checked out the wellness policy regarding our policy? Wellness with water ice?
If it's a hot scoop night.
Because I have, and I know that one.
We also you get carrot over us.
Yes.
You're not charging. I'm saying we might want to update the wellness policy.
I thought you were concerned about the risks of staff and board.
Nah.
It's not as much the risk, it's the, you adhere to the seat of your car,
Oh, so sticky.
covered in mango water ice.
It's like a figure, yeah, you need like gloves up to there.
And the visa.
Okay, so it's the 24th.
Okay, all right, so on the 24th, discuss this issue, and then we'll put it into the regulation on the 28th, okay? And then the other things that we'll talk about at the next policy meeting will be the field trips policy, and because Ava will be here for that, and then we'll also talk about equity. And then whatever else is coming up, we will go in there, but that's what we know is coming right now, so, okay. Is there any community input?
No.
No? Okay, seeing none. Our next policy committee meeting, as we said before, is August 28th at 1:30. We'll be here. There's nothing else. We're adjourned.
Thank you, Paul.